Good morning to everyone. I'm Dr. K. Pranita, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Government Degree College for Women, Golconda. In today's session, we are going to learn about contract system, how to maintain contract accounts separately for each and every contract. Actually, what is the use of a contract? This we are going to learn in this particular session. Actually, what do you mean by a contract? Contract is nothing but it is given for doing a particular work or a process. It is, for example, giving work is assigned for doing in a construction business or a road constructions or bridges or shipbuildings, etc. For that, is each single work, separate payment is being given to them. For example, if the contractor is there, he will be having number of contracts. He has to maintain each and every contract separately to know how much of profit he earned from this particular contract. So there arises a need for maintaining a separate account for each contract. Next. Contract costing is also known as a terminal costing or is a job variant, that is, it is a variant of job costing. Contract means a big job in which work is done at a site and not in factory premises. The cost of each contract has to be ascertained. Thus, in this method of costing, each contract is a cost unit and an account is opened for each contract in the books of contractor. The person who is doing this contract is called the contractor, and he has to ascertain the profit and loss earned for that particular contract. Next, features of contract costing. Contract costing usually shows the following features. The first one is contracts are generally of large size and therefore a contractor usually carries out a small number of contracts at a particular point of time. Next one is a contract generally takes more than 1 year to complete, or it may be small, that is less than 1 year, or a very small 2 months, 3 months, like that. And work on contracts is carried out at the site of contracts and not in a factory premises. This is another main feature of contract costing. So somewhere it is done. One contract is done in some other place, the other contract is done in some other place. So the places are different, the areas are different, they are far away from the office or factory premises. Each contract undertaken is treated as a cost unit. Next one is the other feature. A separate contract account is prepared for each contract in the books of contractor to ascertain profit or loss on each contract. Next is most of the materials are specially purchased for each contract. So these will therefore be charged direct from the supplier's invoices. Any materials drawn from the store are charged to contract on the basis of material requisition notes. The other feature is nearly all labor costs will be direct here. Next, most expenses, that is electricity or example telephone or insurance, etc., are also direct here. Next one, specialist subcontractors may be employed for say for doing the electrical fittings work, welding work or a glass work, etc. The other feature is plant and equipment may be purchased specially for the contract or may be hired for the duration of the contract. So this is also one feature of a contract accounting. Payments by the customer or the contractee are made at various stages of completion of the contract. Here, one thing you should understand that payment is not done fully at the beginning or at the end, because usually contracts are amount will be very high, that is huge amount is involved in these contracts. So what happens is it becomes both for the contractor and the contractee to maintain that. That's why it these payments will be made in the various stages of completion of that particular contract based on architect certificate for the completed stage. An amount known as retention money is withheld by the contractee as per agreed terms. Penalties may be incurred by the contractor for failing to complete the work within the specified time or the agreed period. Okay, now there is some distinction between contract costing and job costing. What are the main distinctions between these two are? The first one is contract is generally big, or while the job costing is very small. It is well said a job is a small contract and a contract is a big job. You can understand that. The second one is the number of jobs undertaken at a time are usually large as compared to a number of contracts, because contracts are generally much bigger in size. Next, in contrast, costing, most of the costs are chargeable direct to contract accounts. Under job costing, direct allocation to such an extent is not possible. The next one is allocation and apportionment of overhead cost is simpler in contract costing as compared to the job costing. Jobs are usually carried out in factory premises while contract work is done at site. Next, jobs are usually carried out in factory premises while the contract is usually done at a site. Now, the contract costing procedures, rules and regulations here. The basic procedure for costing of contracts is, first one is contract account. Each contract is allocated a distinct number, so that to know which contract it is, they are given names or numbers, and a separate account is opened for each contract. Next, direct cost. Most of the cost of a contract can be allocated direct to the contract. All such direct costs are debited to the contract account. Direct costs for contracts include materials, labor and supervision. Direct expenses, depreciation of plant and machinery, subcontract cost, etc. There is also indirect cost here, that is, contract account is also debited with overheads which tend to be small in relation to direct cost, such costs are often absorbed on some arbitrary basis as a percentage on prime cost or materials or wages, etc. Overheads are normally restricted to head office or storage cost. Transfer of materials or a plant. When materials, plant or other items are transferred from contract, the contract account is credited by that amount. Next, contract price. The contract account is also credited with the contract price. However, when a contract is not complete at the end of the financial year, the contract account is credited with the value of work in progress as on that time. Profit or loss on contract. The balance of contract account represents profit or loss which is transferred to profit and loss account. However, when contract is not complete, then whichever within the financial year, that is, only a part of the profit arrived is taken into account and the remaining profit is kept as a reserve to meet any contingent loss or on the incomplete portion of the contract. This we will discuss later on in this session. Next, the special points in contract costing we have to remember is, usually in the cost of materials, you have materials means it includes materials specifically purchased for the contract, materials issued from store against material requisition notes. The cost of both these types of materials is debited to the contract account. Next, materials returned to stores. When materials are issued in excess of requirements, as for instance cement, sand, pipes, etc., these are later returned to the stores, accompanied by a material return note, which gives the details of the material returned. Such returned materials are credited to contract account. Materials at site. At the end of each accounting period, value of materials lying unused at site, that is they are credited to contract account and is carried forward for charging against the next period. Now coming back to the cost of labor. All wages of workers engaged on a particular contract are charged direct to the contract irrespective of the type of work they perform. When several contracts are running at different locations, payroll is normally sectionalized so as to have a separate payroll for each such contracts. Difficulties in costing may be encountered when some workers may have to move from one site to another or when a number of small contracts are undertaken. In such a situation, it becomes necessary to provide timesheets from which allocation can be made. In order to control labor utilization and prevent fraud in the payment of wages, surprise visits by head office personnel will be necessary. Next one is the plant depreciation. There are different methods of dealing with plant depreciation in a contract account. The first one is, contract account is debited with the cost of the plant installed. At the end of the year or when the plant is no longer required, the plant is revalued and contract account is credited with this revalued or a depreciated figure. In case plant is sold on the completion of the contract account is credited with its sales proceeds. The net effect of the above debit and credit will be that the contract account will stand debited with the amount of depreciation, which is difference between the value of plant debited and value of plant credited. This method is generally used on long contracts, that is which extend over more than 1 year, because depreciated value of the plant is credited to the contract account and brought down as an opening balance in the next period. Alternatively, the second method, contract account is simply debited with the amount of depreciation. It is usual to use this method when plant is sent to contract only for a short period. For example, mobile crane or a bulldozer used in contract may be charged on this basis. However, when a plant is hired for contract, a charge for the hire of the plant is debited to the contract as a direct expense. Next one. Here, usually how the payments are being made. Okay. In case the contract is small, that is full amount is usually made on the completion of the contract. But in case of large contracts, it may take more than 1 year to complete. In such a case, no payment is received until the completion of the contract. The financial resources of the contractor could surely become strained. Therefore, a system of progress payments is agreed by parties. In this system, part payments of the contract amount are paid from time to time on the basis of certificate issued by the architects acting for the contractee, certifying the value of the work satisfactorily completed. Such payments received by the contractor are usually credited to the personal account of the contractee. It should be noted that such payments are not entered in the contract account. Next. Here, this is the, you can see here, this is the format of the contract account. Here, we see here in the debit side all the expenses which they have incurred for this particular product. Here you can see here debit side and credit side is there in this format. You find their materials are there. A purchased directly, issue from site, supplied by contractee. Next, to wages and salaries are there, and then to other direct expenses are there, to subcontractor fees is there, to plant and machinery, that is anything which we have purchased for that particular contract, that also we will be entering here. To indirect expenditure, that is any other overheads expenditure whichever has been incurred for this particular product. Then coming to the credit side, we will be writing by materials returned, then again by materials sold or a cost price, then by work in progress. In this work in progress, we will be writing two things, that is work certified and work uncertified. Work which has been completed and that which has been certified, and the work completed but which has not been certified yet. These two things are mentioned in the credit side of the contract account. Next one is the buy materials at site. This is the closing stock of the materials which we will show in the credit side. Next, buy plant and machinery. This is the written down value, that means the closing balance. Then when we balance it, then we will be getting, if the surplus is there, we will be getting in the debit side, we will be writing as notional profit here. Why we are writing here notional profit? Because it is not a complete profit. The contract has not been completed yet, so it is written as a notional profit. It's not a complete profit. It's a surplus here. So this is contract account format. Next, here one more rule we have to follow is that after completing this contract account, there will be like for example, when the contract is completed, then one procedure is followed. When the contract is not completed, it is half finished or more than half finished, then another procedure is followed here. You should examine here clearly. See here, I have shown there profit distribution. First one is when the complete contract has been done. Then what we will do? If profit, transfer to credit side of the profit and loss account. If loss, transfer to debit side of the profit and loss account. Here there is no confusion at all. But when we come to the contracts which are not completed yet, they are only in an incomplete position. That is, maybe it is a half completed or 3/4 completed or like this. So what we have to do? See the procedure here. If it is a profit, then some part of it is transferred to credit side of the profit and loss account, and the other part of it will be transferred to the reserve account. And sometimes if it is a loss is there, then directly you are transferring it to the debit side of the profit and loss account. Okay, here one more thing we have to do is that in the contract account, if the work, actually first of all you should know what is work in progress. There is work certified and work uncertified. When the contract is not completed till the end of the accounting year, the architect is required to value the work in progress. So such work in progress is classified into work certified and work uncertified. That work which has been completed, that is that work which has been completed and been seen by the architect, and then he says this work is okay, this is being completed in a satisfying manner, this is work certified. In other words, this is that part of the work in progress which has been approved by the contractees, contract or engineer for payment. Work certified is valued at contract price, that is the selling price, and includes an element of profit. Now when we come to work uncertified, this is that part of the work in progress which is not approved by the architect or engineer. This is valued at cost and thus does not include an element of profit. Both certified and uncertified appear on the credit side of the contract account and also on the asset side of the balance sheet. Next, here one more thing you have to remember is that when the work in progress is not completed properly, how we have to treat them. There are 3 stages of work completed. So first one is, actually there are no hard and fast rules at all. When work in progress is certified, that is less than 1/4 of the contract price, no profit is transferred to profit and loss account. This is based on the principle that no profit should be taken into account unless the contract has reasonably been advanced. When work in progress certified is 1/4 or more but less than half of the contract price, then generally 1/3 of the profit is transferred to profit and loss account. The balance amount is treated as reserve. This profit to be transferred to profit and loss account is computed in the following manner. This procedure I have shown on the screen. That means, in simple words, you can remember that if suppose you have to check a total contract price, how much it is there, and you have to check how much is the work certified. If the work certified is less than 1/3, or if it is more than half, or it is completely completed. If it is less than half, that is below 50%, then what you will do? You have to follow this formula, that is 1/3 into notional profit into cash received by work certified. If the work in progress when work certified is when compared to contract price, if it is less than 1/4 of it, then no profit will be transferred to profit and loss account. It will be directly sent to the reserve account. Next one is, if suppose the work certified is 75% of the total contract price or more than 50%, it is in between 15 to 100%, then in the formula, in place of 1/3, you'll keep 2/3. That is, the formula will be 2/3 into notional profit into cash received by work certified. So these are the formulas which you have to follow. So till now we have seen the theory part of it. Now we will see how we have to calculate or prepare a contract account based on such information. For example, see this problem. Materials sent to site, some amount is given, labor engaged on site, plant installed at cost. Direct expenditure is given to you, establishment charges are given to you, materials returned to stores, work certified, cost of work not certified. This is nothing but work uncertified. Next one is materials on hand, December 31st. This means the closing stock of materials. Next, wages accrued on December 31st. These are nothing but outstanding wages. Now, direct expenditure accrued, then value of plant as on December 31st. So these are all the information they have given to you in this particular problem, and what they have given you, the contract price has been agreed at 2,50,000. Cash has been received from the contractee amounting to 1,80,000. So this is the problem. How we have to calculate? See the procedure. First one, contract account. You will write debit side and the credit side. And once more we will make the revision. All the debit side, all what you will do. All the expenditures, all the direct expenses, all the regarding materials or wages or any other expenditure, whichever you have spent for this particular contract, you will be writing on the debit side. If any like any machinery or any furniture or anything purchased for this particular contract, then you will be writing the whole amount in the debit side of the contract account. And regarding the closing materials or any materials returned or the plant closing value, all these things you will be writing in the credit side. Then here again you have to show two things under the work in progress, which is shown on the credit side of the contract account. Both things will be there, that is work certified and work uncertified. So these two things will be there, and then we have to balance this account. If we get a balance in the debit side, you call it as a profit, and if we get a balance in the credit side, you say it as a loss. And again we have to follow the procedure. The next procedure I'll tell you later on. Now here, see here, in the debit side, materials sent to site 85,349. This is the opening stock of materials, that is which they have been sent to the site. Then wages, add accrued wages, whichever we have to pay, that also we are going to write for this particular contract account. So 74,375 plus 2,400 is equal to 76,775. Next, to plant, 15,000. To direct expenses, 4,126. Inner column you are adding again accrued direct expenses, how much they are there, 240. So the total will be 4,366. Here in this you are writing also establishment charges, 3,167. Now coming to the credit side of it, buy materials returned to store, 549. Again buy materials on hand. This is nothing but, I told you, this is a closing stock of materials. This is 1,883. Next, the plant closing value you have to write there. Then you are writing here 11,000. Here a hidden adjustment like this, you can show either this debit side plant 15,000 is there, and credit side we are showing plant value 11,000. That means 15,000 minus 11,000, 4,000 is the depreciation we are charging for this plant. It is the inner meaning of it. Either you can show it this way, or in the inner column in the credit side you can show again plant 15,000 minus depreciation 4,000, and then total in the outer column 11,000 you can show in this manner. Next, by work in progress. Here we are showing two items together, work certified and work not certified or uncertified, we can say. Work certified here is 1,95,000 and work not certified is 4,500. Together it will become, if we are adding, 1,99,500. So if we are balancing, we are getting balance in the debit side. So that means we got the profit. So how much profit we have earned from this contract? 28,275. Now, after this, you have to calculate how much, you have to see how much is the contract price. You see in the problem here, The total contract price is 2,50,000. And here, see the work certified. How much it is? 1,95,000. So how much it is completed? It is more than how much is the work certified when compared to that of the total contract price. So actually it is 2,50,000. Here work certified is 1,95,000. So it is more than half. That means we have to apply the formula here. The formula here is, if we are if it half work certified when compared to the contract price is more than 50%, then we are in a formula we are writing 2 by 3. So here 2 by 3. Actually notional profit here profit is 28,275 into, that is the notional profit, into 2 by 3 into cash received. How much of the cash received? Here in the problem they have given you, see, the contractee cash has been received from the contractee amounting to 1,80,000. So we are writing 1,80,000 divided by work certified. Here work certified is 1,95,000. So the total amount is 17,400. This 17,400 you will be transferring to the profit and loss account. So here again the second part of this contract account, here notional profit 28,275. This we are carrying it to the credit side by profit brought down 28,275. From this, some part of it we are transferring to profit and loss account and some part of it to the work in progress. Here in the formula, how much we have to transfer to the profit and loss account? 17,400. So we are writing in the debit side profit and loss account 17,400 here. Next balance will be to the work in progress. So to work in progress, the balance we are writing here 10,875. Total it is balanced there 28,275. This is the total picture of a contract account. Now we have to write the contractee's account also. Here the contractee account, the total contract is, how much is the cash received here? You see here, total work certified is 1,95,000. So here to contract account, actually here you can write the total contract price also, or otherwise you can write sometimes work certified also. By bank account 1,80,000, the balance is 15,000. Here total is 1,95,000. And in balance sheet, how you are going to show this contract account? Usually in the balance sheet you will show in the liability side all the outstanding things. So here outstanding wages are there, outstanding expenditure is there. So 2,400 and 240 we are showing in the liability side. Here again in the asset side you are showing work in progress, that is certified, as well as work 1,95,000. Again work uncertified 4,500. Total it is 1,99,500. Again less profit in suspense, that is that profit which see here in this problem, profit which we have sent there, that is to work in progress. How much it is there? 10,875. So that we are writing here, profit work in progress 10,875. So less cash receipt 1,80,000. So the total is 8,625 we will be showing in the asset side. Materials on hand 1,883 we will show, and the plant at side the total value is 11,000 after the depreciation. So the picture in the balance sheet, how it will appear here, we will show here like this. Here we are not balancing at all because the other contracts also will be there, that amounts we doesn't know. So this much only we will be showing how they will be appearing in the balance sheet. So today we have learned what is the contract costing, what are the features of it, what are the advantages of maintaining a contract account, and also what are the rules which we follow in particular contract account, and how to prepare a contract account. I think you understand this problem very properly, and if we are practicing this, definitely we can do in a proper manner. Thank you. Thank you very much.